Hi, Susan here from Making Craft Studio, and welcome to the This Calls for Confetti channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create an easy trifold spring or Easter card. So for this card I'm going to be using the Spring Has Sprung foil plates, but I'm not going to be foiling today. I'm going to use them in a different way. I'm also going to be using the Arch die set, and then I'll also be using the Faith in Bloom card set. And so these are already cut into arches for you, and there's several images in there. So I'm going to start out with the Arch die set, and I'm going to use the largest die. I've cut 3 pieces of navy cardstock with the largest die. And then in this die set, you'll see there's 2 little pieces here. For this one, I'm going to choose the larger one, and I'm going to cut 2 of these pieces. And I'm not really even sure what you call these, but I'm using them as tabs today. So your tabs, when you cut them out, they have a score line that's already made into them. So I'm just folding them on the score line, just getting them ready to add to the bases. So what I'm going to do is just add a thin line of glue on one side of the tab, and I'm just going to attach the tab to the back side of one of my arches. Now what I'm trying to do is pay attention to the tip of that tab to be certain that it lines up with the bottom of my arch, and then I'm just going to also make sure that I stay within the fold line and I don't go past the fold line adding this. I want to have it within the fold line so it can actually fold over the arch. So then I have the other side sticking out, so I'm just going to add another thin line of glue and add my next card base. So I'm just going to line this arch up as well. Once again, being mindful of the bottom, making sure that it lines up with the bottom of the tab. And then I'm also trying to stay away from the fold line. Just leave a little bit of gap there between both of these. And then you can see here how the bottoms are lined up. You just want to be sure that that point is lining up with the bottoms. And there's a little bit of gap there. And as the glue dries, it will be clear and it will be fine. So I just want to leave that gap. And so my glue dries tacky, so I'm just going to use my glue eraser to remove it. And then I'm just going to do the same thing with the next tab. I'm going to add glue to one side, and then I'm going to attach it to the arch that we just attached to the other arch, to our second arch, I guess I should say. And once again, I'm being mindful of that bottom piece, making sure that it lines up flush with the bottom, and also making sure that this arch does not cross over the fold line. We want to leave that fold there so that we have a little wiggle room for our card to fold up. There are other ways to create trifold cards by scoring, by figuring out all these different measurements, but this is a fun way to create one. It's so simple that you could create a bunch of these in just an afternoon by cutting out the pieces and gluing them together. So I thought it would be fun to do it this way today instead of worrying about measurements. This way you don't have to have any measurements, you just use the die set. So once again, I'm just adding another thin line of glue and adding my last arch to the last tab. And I'm just lining up all the edges again, making sure everything's lined up just like I did the ones before. And I really think the back side of these is really neat with how the tab looks. If you wanted to cover that up, you could cut out 3 more arches and add them to the back. That would thicken your card as well. But my cardstock was thick enough. If yours is not, then just do that. Just add another layer to the back and you can cover up those tabs. You want to press down really good and be sure that you have these glued really good before you start to fold it into your trifold. Now there's several ways you could fold this. You could fold it so that the top one folds in and then the back one, the back one folds the other direction. But for this card today, I'm going to fold the first one back so that you have the front of the card facing you. And I'm just folding this into an accordion. But I want to make sure that my finished front piece is on the front, and then so I fold it back towards the left, and then the middle piece is there. So then your third piece is folded back towards the right, if that makes sense. So when you get done, you will have an accordion fold card. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you here. So you can see here the front, the middle, and the back. You can see how I have those folded. So the front is kind of a mountain fold, and the back is a valley fold. So hopefully that does make sense. So now instead of foiling with the Spring Has Sprung foil set, I'm going to use that in my better press. So what I want to do is I'm just going to bring in a piece of white cardstock. Now, if you want this to have a deep impression, you're going to want to bring in some watercolor paper or the Better Press paper. But today I'm just going to use 110-pound cardstock. And so I just want a little bit of indentation, and then I just really want the imprint of the Happy Easter. So I'm just going to line up the Happy Easter with the exclamation point, and I'm just using the lines on my grid here on the Better Press to help me figure out where I'm going to put these and how I'm going to line them up. And then I'm just adding a larger piece of white cardstock to my plate here, and I'm going to tape it down. Then I'm going to use the archival ink. I hardly ever use the Better Press ink. I always just use inks that I have in my stash. So this is a navy color ink. I really love how it looks. It matches the paper that I'm using really well. It's called Best Dressed, I think is what it is. And then I'm just going to run this through my Better Press. So I did not show on camera running it through because my machine is across the room. So, but you can actually just run it through your machine like you would anything else when you're die cutting. The Better Press just runs right through the machine. So now that I have the Happy Easter imprinted into my paper, I just want to bring in the next to the largest die. And this one is going to be the same size as those Faith in Bloom, or close to the same size as the Faith in Bloom arches. So I'm going to use this size to cut out the Happy Easter. And I'm just going to run this through my die cutting machine. And there we have it. So here is the Happy Easter. It looks really good. And you can feel a little bit of indentation there. But you will, like I said, if you want a deeper indentation, then you're going to have to use a thicker paper. So I've gone ahead and picked out a couple of the images from the Faith in Bloom set. So I thought that the little chick with the cross and the little rabbit with the cross were adorable images. So I'm going to use those on my card as well. And like I said, today's card is so fast and so easy to put together. You could embellish it even more if you wanted to, add flowers, add more greenery, but I wanted to keep it simple today. I think that these images are so pretty that they didn't need anything else. So I'm just going to layer up my images now. So the rabbit is going to go on the front, and then I'm going to add the Happy Easter to the center of the card. Now you could add this one to the third panel if you want, but I really wanted it in the center. And then I'm going to add the little chick with the cross. I'm going to add that to the third panel. Now when you're lining these up, just be mindful that you are putting your arches in the center of the arch, but once you add your second one, be sure that you're lining them all up at the bottom, just in case you get it off just a little bit from the center. It's best to have all of the arches lined up at the bottom so that everything looks, straight and doesn't look wonky. So here I'm just making sure everything is lined up. And so here is the completed card. This one was so easy to put together. Like I said, you don't have to worry about measurements or anything. So I hope that you've enjoyed seeing me create this card. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to This Cause for Confetti for more inspiration throughout the month. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.